All right, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you had a chance to have some lunch, and I hope I am not between you and lunch. And so my name is Sinead O'Donovan, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Azure Network Security today. And at Microsoft, we're obsessed about customers, and I would say there's three things I hear from customers all the time. The first one is, my business is tech now. In order for me to be open for business, my technology has got to be working, and when it doesn't work, my business is not open. And they're like, and then when that translates that to networking, it's always about, well, how do I make my services available? How are they, they're always talking about availability and business continuity. So that's the first thing. They're like, hey, how do I improve that? How do I ensure that I am always available and that I'm protected? The second thing I hear from customers is the pace of change in every industry has just really, really accelerated. And there's just not enough people. And in particular, there's a real shortage of security people. And so they're really, when you translate that to network security, they're saying, hey, I need agility, I need to go to the cloud for agility, and I need DevOps. And so they're all about, okay, how do I do more with less? And so that's sort of the second thing that they worry about, that they talk about. And then the third thing is they're all about a customer is really difficult to acquire. And if I break a customer's trust, then I have lost that opportunity with that customer. And so they're really looking at, I really need to make sure I keep their data safe, it's protected. How do I do everything I can to ensure that it's always protected? So speaking of trust, I want to give you, maybe I'll ask a question. Microsoft recently published a paper on zero trust. I want to just get a show of hands maybe in the room. How many of you have seen this paper? Okay, quite a few of you, actually. That's really good. If you haven't, I highly recommend that you read it. It's really a cross-company effort to create this paper. And one of the things I want to just talk about is that there's sort of 7 kind of core pillars to the model. The first pillar is all around identity. You have to know it's one of the foundation pillars. The second one is around your devices itself that you are connecting with. And the third is, what are you doing around data? And then what are you doing around apps and infrastructure? And then also on the networking. And I'm going to dig in quite a bit on the network side of this zero trust model. One of the foundations here is that there's 3 kind of core principles. The first one is we want you to verify explicitly every access control. And so that's really, really important. Don't just because it's on the network, we don't want you to necessarily trust it. So how do you explicitly verify every access? And the other one is use least privilege access and also use as many signals as you can as part of making that access decision. It's just not enough to trust that, hey, it's this IP address. That's really, really insufficient. And the third kind of core principle is, actually, I'll ask this a question. Anybody here want to put up their hand if you have been breached? Now, I really say that. And then there's the rest of you, which is you don't know if you have been breached. And so I really wanted you to understand that it is so prevalent. And so you've got to assume that it's possible to be breached. People make mistakes all the time. Your identities are stolen. They're misused. It is possible to have a breach. And so you have to assume it. And so you're looking at, well, how do I contain it? How do I know I have? And how do I, if it does happen, how do I stop it from happening? And so really having that mindset is really, really important as you go into your zero trust journey. Some people will say, well, can you be zero trust? Can an organization declare success? And really, you can't. And it's really sort of a mindset, it's an approach, it's an architecture, it's something you strive to do. And I just want everyone to really factor that in as part of your journey. So with that, I want to jump in. What does it mean for the network itself? And so part of the paper we published, we kind of at a very simplistic level said, well, there's kind of a maturity model, and you should sort of assess where you are on that journey for the network. And for many customers, and for many, many years, we had this model where there was very, very few network security perimeters. In fact, I've talked to hundreds of global companies, and for internet egress from a company, rarely did I encounter a company with more than 10 internet egress points. In fact, I would say the biggest of the biggest companies would have 3. They would have 3 internet egresses, 1 in Europe, 1 in North America, 1 in Asia. They put all their network security appliances in those 3 places, and they really then assume that once you were inside the network that you were safe. And I think there's many people who are right now still operating in that model. And then they had very little threat protection, and they were doing a lot of their rules were all done using static rules. In fact, if you look at their firewalls, there's 30 years of history in those firewall logs. And again, why they're there, are they still needed? Nobody knows. And then I would say in general, customers, if you looked at their internal network, very little of the internal network traffic was actually encrypted. So if somebody did get on that network, there was a lot that you could discover on that network. Yes, people were pretty good when they used a web app, they'd use SSL, but so much of the back end was not encrypted at all. And I would say the bulk of customers that I talk to, they're in mostly traditional model today in networking. And so when we go down to the next sort of model, we're sort of saying, hey, you really, in this world of cloud and people embracing SaaS apps, they really need to have many, many different ingress and egress points. And we really want them to embrace having a distributed connectivity model, and as well as moving and having lots of perimeters. In fact, one of the nice things about the cloud is you can now go to another new level of creating perimeters. You can create a perimeter around an application, for example. You really can embrace this micro perimeter. You really can segment the back-end infrastructure really, really well to prevent that lateral movement. We're also thinking, as you think about filtering, we want you to use ML models. A lot of the rules should not be created using static filtering. We can learn what the rules are. And so as we really look at behavior-based blocking, and threat intelligence as part of our decision criteria, we really want customers to look at that as a way to really improve their security posture. And then lastly, we really want, as a first step, make sure that all your user-to-app traffic is encrypted. And then ideally, in time, you can have everything, all your back end, completely encrypted. So we want, not every customer can go to optimal right away. What's key for you is to assess where you are and really look at putting a plan in place to move towards being more zero trust. So in Azure Network Security, there's sort of 3 core pieces that I'm going to talk to you about today. The first one is a lot about network segmentation. How do you prevent lateral movement on the network, and how do you prevent data exfiltration using network security controls? So that's sort of the first piece, quite a bit of content on that. The second one then is then how do you use threat intelligence? How do you secure up that app perimeter, if you will? And the third one is really, if you look at your connectivity model, and especially for SaaS, you really, really need to have a distributed connectivity model, or user experience will be terrible. And you don't want to go zero trust at the cost of user experience. You really have to design your models so that people have low latency connectivity to their applications, or people will just revolt, or they will be completely unproductive, and you will lose all the agility and really disappoint your customers. So you have to do it in balance. And so it's really part, and then everything we do, you have to be looking at it from a DevOps perspective. How do I do it from code? How do I automate it? How do I really ensure that it's repeatable, that we can prevent mistakes? Because if you manually configure things, then mistakes will occur way more. So I want to drill in Azure networking today. We have a set of services. The first thing I want you to understand is we're completely, the whole network in Azure is software defined. And then it has these key core elements. You don't program a switch, you don't program, everything is done in software. And it's done with these fine-grained controls like a virtual network. It's done with, every virtual network has a subnet. Every subnet has a routing table. You can interact with every one of these components via an API, via an ARM template. And so if you look at our software-defined network functions, you can assign an IP address, a public IP, a private IP. Everything is done in code. And so you sort of think of the Sdn layers, these are sort of like your Lego blocks of the network, except the nice thing about them is they're all programmable. And then we have some higher level services that we have used those SDN foundations and then some more to create these sort of solutions. And we have 4 big ones in Azure networking. We have Azure Firewall, which we GA'd last year. We have a web application firewall. And here at Ignite this year, we GA'd Private Link, and we also have Ddos Protection. And I'm going to jump into these a little bit more. Another thing you need to understand about Azure, it really is a platform. And its partners play a critical role. And so the idea is that you use our native capabilities, but then they can be augmented and extended by partners. And I'll go into quite a bit of detail on some exciting new things that partners are doing with us in this space here. So a lot of people will say network segmentation. Tell me more. I'm hearing a lot. There's a lot in the news right now on network segmentation. And there's 3 different approaches to doing segmentation. One way of doing doing segmentation is kind of host-based. And if you look at what's happening now in the startup space, there's a lot of host network segmentation companies. People like Illumio, people like Guardicore. There's a whole bunch where you have to have an agent. And if you have an agent that's installed on the VM, then you can do network segmentation. So there's an agent-based approach, which many people are doing right now. The second one is it's based on the hypervisor itself. And if you look, an example of a hypervisor-based segmentation, think of VMware NSX as an example there. And then the third based approach on segmentation is actually using network controls. And that's what I'm going to dig into some more here in my next slide. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what you can do with the networking controls in Azure. First, I want to just tell you about 5 key controls if you want to think about segmentation. And customers really need to understand these 5 key ones. There's many more, and in the next slide you're going to get, I'm going to tell you now, it's very complicated, but let me just start with these 5. The first thing you have to do is you have to decide as a customer, how am I going to use subscription as a segmentation boundary? Like what's my philosophy? Does every dev team have its own subscription, or am I doing, so you have to decide your subscription approach. And this is a logical isolation environment, if you will. The next sort of key component is your virtual network, the VNet. And this is actually the foundational capability. I mean, if there's any one service that's the hero here in network segmentation, it's the VNet. And you'll see us at Microsoft, everything being VNet-centric. Every PaaS service, we want to make them VNet aware. So we want to be able to give you that control to that full network segmentation, and the VNet is foundational. And so what a VNet is, it's an isolated region. When you put resources into that VNet, they can communicate together. And then you can set controls on the boundary using the third control, which is our network security groups. So network security groups, they control inbound and outbound of the VNet, and they're there to, you can decide, you can set it at the VNet level, at the subnet level, or even at the resource level. You can set your inbound and outbound controls. The fourth key control that we have, which think of this as your boundary around an application, which is the web application firewall. So this is the one that's saying it's creating application-specific network security policies to protect the web application. And the last one is around Azure Firewall. And Azure Firewall is all around, well, I need a control that works across subscription, across VNets, and I want to be able to create more complex filtering decisions. So I don't just want to do it based on networking rules, I want to do it based on application rules, and I want to do it based on threat intelligence. And so that's our kind of 5th control. So these are the key ones that allow you to do segmentation in Azure. So this is the complicated slide. Please don't get overwhelmed. I will talk you through it. So the very first, very, very simple, but very, very insufficient segmentation approach is to have a thoughtful approach of when do you use private IP address space and when do you use public IP address space. And I want to start there, and our message, this is a broad message, there will be exceptions. In general, if you've got a user and you're connecting to an application, we want you to use the internet. We want you to use public IP. These are mobile, we're in a mobile-first world. People are on their devices. Every PC soon will have 5G connectivity. You've got to assume, and you've got to move to a world where user to app is going to be internet-based connectivity. And so if you just have that simple ground rule, it says user to app is public, and then app, the web front end to the back end, that should all be private. And it's just a way of segmenting. If you take it off the internet, if people aren't able to reach it, it is a form of protection. Completely insufficient, by the way. Like, don't rely, the message, do not leave this with, oh, once I have it at private IP, I'm safe. You are not. But at least it's another, it's a form of segmentation. What's also very key is it's very, very important that you understand network routing, because if you put segment, if you're not conscious, routing is how the resources communicate with each other. If you lock it completely down, nothing can talk to anything, and that's no use to anybody. But you really want to make sure you understand your routing, and because you both what can connect, and also how do I ensure that things that shouldn't be able to connect don't connect. So in Azure, there's two kind of foundational models for how you might construct your connectivity. One of them is using VNet peering and user-defined routing. Many customers, this is the model they use today. They construct hub and spoke models in the cloud, and they use VNet peering to allow the different segments to communicate. Another one that we talked about, there was a very good session this morning on virtual WAN. It's also a transitive architecture for how you might connect up and construct a hub and spoke model. So both of them are, so if you look at the connectivity layer, that's your first sort of a first public versus private IP, then look at your routing controls, decide which model you're going to use. Are you going to use hub and spoke, or are you going to use virtual WAN transit? And so that's your connectivity layer. The next piece is really around the infrastructure layer. And so at the infrastructure layer, you're saying, I've got subscription, I've got the VNet, I've got my subnet boundaries. And again, you want to manage that at a kind of org level, and this is where you would use the combination maybe of Azure Firewall and NSGs and the virtual network in your subscription. And different controls work at different levels. As an example, NSG work at the VNet level, Azure Firewall works across VNets and across subscriptions. So again, these are you can set up policies, and you might decide, many people will say, some people will say, oh, every dev team gets their own VNet. That could be a model. Some people say, actually, I'll do it based on product line. I want all the product lines, with all the products within this product line, they get their own subscription, and then each individual product gets it. Some people will do it based on application risk profile. So, and they'll come up with kind of funny things like, I've got green VNets and red VNets and blue VNets, and depending on the risk profile, you decide which app goes into each, and then green can't talk to red, and red can't talk to blue. So anyway, there's lots of flexibility in the cloud for you just to decide what's going to be your reference architecture for segmenting at the infrastructure level. And then at the highest layer, you have the application segmentation itself. If you're building a container-based app, we do provide controls. We've got CNI, which allows you to make the pods virtual network aware, and then we've got network policies that allow you to do segmentation within the pods itself. And so that's sort of one mechanism that you might want to do an additional segmentation. We provide different tools then that make it easier if you want to web can talk to SQL. We've got application security groups. We also have service tags. We also have fully qualified domain name tags. Again, as you're creating these rules, these app rules, very common when I hear from customers is, I want no internet access except I want to get to github.com, or I want to get to Windows Update. And so how do you express those application-specific exceptions? And so we're really working hard to make it easier for you to author those. And then lastly, we have the web application firewall, where you can actually set specific policies then around protecting that application. So at a very, very high level, there's lots of filtering capabilities. They are composable, and our recommendation is to use multiple of them. They're all services, so you don't need to worry about reliability or availability. They auto-scale, and they're all driven for DevOps. And one thing that's really nice, too, is Azure Security Center has a really good view of the entire environment. So that's a really good tool to look at the overall. If you want to see what's happening globally within Azure, who's allowed, can I visually see who's able to connect to whom, and it can also detect if something is misconfigured, and it can give you some tips on, we recommend that you need to put some policies in place. So it gives you that overall visibility and control. We announced, there's a detailed session, actually I think it's right after me, there's another session introducing Azure Firewall Manager, which went into preview. Azure Firewall was released last year into GA, and it has gotten phenomenal adoption. And as part of this, now we're saying, hey, what if I have to want to manage multiple firewalls? You know, and I want to have global and local policy. And what if I want a way to really make it simple to get all the traffic to the firewall? And then what if I want to, you know, I really love Azure Firewall, but I also want to embrace a third-party product for additional security. How do I do that? And then also, how do I have kind of this split routing control? I want to know which traffic do I send to Azure Firewall, which traffic do I send to third parties. So really making these routing decisions, like the security providers were telling us, we don't want to see all your SQL replication data or the storage replication traffic across region. So how do we take that traffic out of what these third parties see? So this is a kind of a key service. I'll go into a little bit more detail in another minute on that. And then really quickly, I just want to give you one example of a case study that our core, this is our MSIT group that they did in Microsoft. They wanted an environment, at Microsoft we have 1,000+ different dev teams that have labs, and they have lab environments for building their products. And a lot of this used to be on-premise, and all of it was moved to the cloud. And just to give you an idea of scale, roughly about up to close to 1 million virtual machines. I just want to give you that idea of scale that they needed to do. And so MSIT, they really want to have, they want to migrate all these labs to the cloud. They wanted network segmentation. So we have, you know, obviously the employees all have productivity happening on the corporate network, but they wanted the labs, wanted a lot more looser controls because they're building, and the Bing team is doing indexing of the internet, and the Windows team is doing something different. And so really want to make sure that we didn't interfere with each other. So they needed a network segmentation approach for all of the labs, and they wanted none of them to interfere with each other, and none of them also to interfere with our productivity experience. But they also wanted the engineering teams to go fast, and they have a lot of agility on what they do, but they also didn't want, the CISO didn't want to get fired because one of the labs exposed CorpNet. And so it's really important that they had good controls in place. So they were able to leverage both Express Route and Azure Firewall, and they were in the process, and they found that the user experience got better. They were able to, the performance, the scalability, and so it was really a great success. They were almost completely rolled out of enabling this environment right now. And they were able to move away from a very common thing that I see a lot of customers doing, where they were forced tunneling Azure traffic back on premise to go through network security. And now they don't need to do that anymore. And so that's how the network experience for the labs improved. So let me now go into a little bit more on our web application protection. So first you say, well, why do I do web application protection? And there's multiple reasons. One is I really want to have availability of my application. That's very, very key. The other thing that they want to do is they want to make sure that somebody doesn't break in and steal data from the application. That's the application front end. There's data behind it. E-commerce is happening, and so forth. So they really want to, prevent that data exfiltration. So with us at Microsoft, we actually have two web application firewalls solutions, but one policy. So we've made it now very simple that you can author policy, and then you can decide whether you apply your WAF globally, which will run in the network edge of our network. We have 160 edges and adding new one every week. Or do I want it to apply within the region? And so you can deploy your policy with either. And what we announced here at Ignite is now we have incorporated, we've got bot protection. As part of it, we're using the Microsoft Threat Intelligence to know good and bad bots, and we also have an ML algorithm that we're using to learn the behavioral bots as well. We've got a lot of controls on the policies, and we also have geo-filtering. We had geo-filtering in our global WAF, and now it's available in our regional WAF. So a lot of customers will ask, well, which one do I use, and do they have the same features? Our goal is that they always have the same features within 3 months of each other. So you should not be using features, so it really depends on your architecture topology, which WAF solution you do. We do recommend that you do it at the edge of the network, close to where the user is, if you can. So that's a little bit about, there's a detailed session on Friday on WAF. The second thing that we offer is Ddos Protection. Every day at Microsoft, we see 20, 30 DDoS attempts and growing. It's coming up to Christmas. Xbox seems to be an attack vector. We're learning about, I learned about a new one. It's amazing. I didn't know people took their gaming so seriously, but they actually attack other players if they lose their competition. And they will try to take out the game. And that you can buy a bot for $20 that will take out a Minecraft server. It boggles the mind how emotional they get about their games. But we see those attacks, we're constantly making it better. As part of the product, we recommend that every public IP has DDoS protection enabled on it. You really want it tuned to your application because every application is different. And so maybe you normally see 10,000 requests per second. Well, what would happen to your app if you received 100,000 requests per second? Would it tip over? And so that's what we're doing. We tune it to your app profile. We ensure that you get all the metrics and understanding of what the attack was. We give access to a rapid response team, and then we also protect your Azure bill. So if you did get attacked, you don't want to pay for all that extra consumption that attack was caused. So we love our partners, and I'm excited about two partners in particular that I want to highlight here. Barracuda this week, they launched their WAF as a service offering. It's available. It actually runs on Azure, so it's able to take advantage of Azure's network. And also Radware is also another WAF as a service company, and they run in Azure that takes advantage of our network. Both of them use our Azure DDoS offering as well as part of their solution. So, and we treat our customer trust is very, very important to us. So if these guys have better WAF than our native one, please use them. We want you to be successful in Azure, and we love that you use both of us, but if you want to use one of them is better, that's great too. We just want you to be successful on your Azure journey. So I want to just now switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about the connectivity layer. So this is we're really recommending that it's time to transform your network. When you talk to customers, they'll tell us, well, I built my network to reach my data centers, but I'm emptying my data centers, and I'm using a lot of SaaS apps. My network, well, maybe it's not the right network for the cloud. And so we're really recommending that people look and transform their network. And the first kind of key thing, again, is emphasizing is that the user to app use the internet. If you take something like Office 365, they've done an amazing job at making it available at the edges of the network. and they want it to be, they're bringing it super, super close. Like our overall goal is to be within 20 milliseconds of every large concentration of users out there. And so you really you don't want to take that away by funneling all their traffic into those 3 internet exits that you probably have right now. And so really recommending that if you, for the trusted SaaS apps, we want you to go right to the internet. That's first kind of key point. And then if there are some internet apps that you don't trust, then we want to give you a better model for how you might secure them. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on the firewall manager and virtual WAN in a second to explain that. And then the second thing is we do want the application to back-end resources. We've heard customers loud and clear. Private connectivity, it makes it easier for the apps. You want to show that you're compliant. You really want to use that segmentation approach to give you at least another layer of protection. And then we're really saying redesign the network and your network security model. And really look at how do you optimize for user experience. You don't want your users to have a bad experience with the cloud. And then I would also encourage you, as you look at your app delivery model, really look at how do I leverage tools like Azure Front Door or Azure or CDN to bring the app closer to the user, and also to run your network security at the edge of your network. Let me go to the next slide. This service, I won't go into in detail here. I just wanted you to know that it's available. It does provide optimized and automated cloud connectivity to and through Azure. And it did announce, so it's a really good model if you want to embrace distributed, if you are transforming your network. It has really nice integration with SD-WAN. And if you want to really embrace and modernize your network, I would encourage you to consider virtual WAN. But I'm going to jump into what's interesting about what we're doing on the security front. And this is our preview. And the first one we wanted to do is we wanted to make it very easy for you to create your DMZ, if you will, your internet egress on Azure. And so that was our first hub. And we have a concept, we're calling it a secured virtual hub. These hubs, we want to make it very easy for you to create them in all 54 regions of the world, and then seamlessly deploy Azure Firewall and third-party into that environment. We wanted you to be able to then create your policies, create a global policy for the environment, and then also have local policy, maybe depending on, like if you're in Germany, maybe you have some governance criteria around where data is stored, give you that ability. And we want to make it very, very simple to automate all of the connectivity. And so this is really, really important. So what we're focused on here is we're giving you this model of you can now use Azure, if you will, as your secured internet edge. And so I encourage you to try it out. We are excited that we have both Zscaler and iBoss integrated as part of the solution, and Checkpoint is coming soon. And I'm going to show you a little bit more from them in a minute. One thing I do want to emphasize is, though, for Office 365, they've done a lot of work and they have a lot of security controls built in. And it's important that there we want it to go directly to the internet and not come into the Azure regions, because we want them to take advantage of that edge connectivity and security at the edge of our network. So let me just, here's a little bit from our from Zscaler. They're pretty excited of integrated. As part of the setup, we automate all of the tunnel setup between Azure and the Zscaler data enforcement nodes, and they can provide a set of protections as part of this. And let me maybe just show you, I think Checkpoint did a very nice video. I want to show you how it can all be built. So maybe that. See, hopefully it'll play.
Checkpoint is a leading provider of cybersecurity solutions that protect over 100,000 businesses globally. Checkpoint Threat Prevention protects enterprise networks, cloud, mobile, IoT, and endpoints from advanced cyber attacks. With Checkpoint CloudGuard Connect, now hosted in Azure, Microsoft and Checkpoint have partnered to provide enterprises a secure, flexible, and efficient way of connecting branch offices to the internet and SaaS applications. CloudGuard Connect and Azure Firewall Manager enable seamless security for your internet traffic using secure virtual hubs. With just a few clicks, all branch and virtual network traffic is protected against advanced cyber threats. Let's take a look at how CloudGuard Connect and Azure Firewall Manager work together. In Azure Portal, navigate to Azure Firewall Manager. Associate Checkpoint as a trusted partner. Select a virtual hub to be secured by CloudGuard Connect and click Create. Navigate to the Checkpoint portal. Provide secured hub authentication credentials and click Next. Then add your sites. That's it. Now your Azure hubs are protected by CloudGuard Connect. When branch office or virtual network users are exposed to malicious cyber threats, Checkpoint Threat Prevention will block any suspicious activity and a corresponding event log will be generated. To learn more about the integration between Checkpoint CloudGuard Connect and Microsoft Azure Firewall Manager, visit our website.
So again, I want to just give you kind of a real-world use case. This is a very simple, again, from our Microsoft IT group. They call themselves the Core Services Engineering Group. They were asked, I want to create a collaborative space for all of the quantum computing research that we're doing. And so we have a number of quantum engineers in our Microsoft research and the team, and then they have a number of universities. And they wanted to create a network that would allow them to collaborate freely. And again, they wanted it isolated from the rest of the corporate network. And so they just used Virtual WAN and Azure Firewall and were able to create this model. And they got it all full deployment in less than a day. So this is just an example of how you can do so much more now in the cloud and made it very, very simple. And they'd be happy if people wanted to learn more about how do they do it and explain it. I'm happy to share more. So let me jump into a few more things in connectivity. The first one is we did announce Private Link, and this is for PaaS services. You know, we heard you loud and clear. Our PaaS services, they were all internet accessible, and that was the model that we were on. And customers told us, no, I really I want to get into that back-end communication I wanted to have over private. And so we're very excited to announce that we've got storage, SQL Data Warehouse, and Cosmos DB are now private link available. And what that means is you can give a private IP address now, a predictable private IP address, and you can not just do it at the service level, but you can do it even at the account level. And you can then use that to connect privately to that resource. And you will see the rest of the PaaS services rolling out to support private link. It's a kind of a top priority in Azure to make them all private link available. And we also, every new services that will be coming out from the spring forward from Azure will be private link available. So we're really taking this, this model very, very seriously. The second thing that I want to maybe is another new service that we GA'd here around network access is the ability for you to access Azure resources in RDP and SSH without putting that virtual machine, giving it a public IP address. And so with Azure Bastion, it's a service that you can connect to any VM resource without a public IP. And there's no agent required, and it can be done right from the portal. And I'm just going to quickly show you a little bit of how simple this is. Okay, let me see here, and hopefully it'll work. So I'm here in the Azure portal, and I've already set up, I've got a Windows VM and I've got a Linux VM. And so I'm just going to connect to them. So if you look here on the right-hand side, you can see that there's no public IP address for this VM. There's just a private IP. And then there's a simple button up here called Connect. And then as part of that, I'm going to go to Bastion. And then I'm going to key in the user name and the password. And then, and if the demo gods let me, it should connect. Yeah, so here I am on my Windows machine. So let me do the same for my, let me go back up here to my home, and I'm going to go to my Linux VM. Again, you can see no public IP, just the private IP. I'm going to connect. Bastion. We support multiple different auth types. You can also enable MFA on here as well if you want to use conditional access. So let me see here, and then I need to key in the password. And here I am on my Linux machine. So it's as simple as that. So we're really excited to make this. Again, we're very, very focused on agility of devs working in Azure, and also really wanting to embrace the zero trust approach to security, and not having to add give your VMs public IP addresses. So let me go to the next slide. So that's a little demo. So then in pulling it all together, I want to just start with, this is sort of your typical, what we're seeing most customers do. They construct this sort of shared service VNet. For public internet traffic, if they have web apps, they use our global WAF that will run at the edge of the network and block a set of attacks there. Then the traffic comes into the region, and then within the region, they will either have traffic go to the Azure Firewall or go to the regional WAF. And then then you might have a set of applications that are in the Spook VNets. Some of them are using PaaS services. Some of them are just VMs. You use a combination of network security groups to lock down that actual Spook itself, and the access to the PaaS services with maybe service endpoints. And then you have a set of services that have our private link enabled. And again, you can use private link to lock down access here. And then from on-premise, if you're connecting from on-premise, you can either use ExpressRoute or VPN or the virtual WAN service. Again, and you will have that link into that shared service model. One thing that's nice about this model, we do have a virtual data center, a lot of documentation, and also if you go out to GitHub, there's a set of ARM scripts that if you want to construct this model, you can do so using those templates. And so it's a good resource that you can maybe just copy and edit it for your environment. So I guess in closing, here are sort of what I would say is the kind of overall kind of key takeaways. First of all, embrace this zero trust model. Please understand it's a journey. You will want to do it in addition to other things you might do around identity or devices. And then really, we're recommending that you segment your network and create lots of micro-perimeters that's appropriate. And we're giving you lots of rich tools to do that. We do believe in a defense in-depth security model. Our services are designed to be composed together. And we really do think that you want to be using cloud-native services. For every web app that you have, please enable a WAF and DDoS on them. And then lastly, I want you, with the preview of Firewall Manager, begin to explore and look at how do you use Azure as your secured internet edge using Firewall Manager and the third parties that we're integrating with. So with that, I have 2 minutes. Maybe not time for questions, but I'm up here afterwards. Would love to chat, and if you want to learn more, please come to the booth. Oh, I do have I do have a few gifts. Can anyone name the 7 pillars of the zero trust model? Does anybody want to try? I have $50 here, so it's worth your while. All right, if you can name, okay, please go ahead. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You get $50 if you want to. Okay, quiz. I have another $50. So who can name the 3 key principles that I talked about for zero trust? And for those of you who take, okay, this gentleman.
Access and assume breach.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Somebody was paying attention.
Nice.
And then lastly, what's the key service that you should go out and try, that you were excited about from this session? Firewall Manager, love it, love it. Okay, all of you, please, everyone said Firewall, well, whoever said it, feel be honest, come up and please take a certificate from me. All right, thank you, everyone.